So back when I first was figuring out what my purpose was, what I wanted to do in life, I thought that, okay, girl, you got to pick something like a career that you want to do for your entire life. You know, back when you in high school, child, and you see all the counselors bringing people in, and they're asking you what you want your life path to be. Whole time, child, like really, honestly, and truly, something that I wish somebody would have told me is that you can pick something as far as what you want to do in life, but you don't have to do that for the rest of your life. It can literally be something that's temporary, something that you do for like 4 years, and you can literally switch your career as many times as you want, right? So, like I said, back when I was about to graduate high school, I can remember having that conversation with my parents and my grandparents, and they were asking me what I wanted to do after I graduated, and my answer was to be a master cosmetologist. Like, I wanted to go to cosmetology school, and my whole thing was I wanted to open up my own salon and have people working for me. I was pretty much deterred from that for several reasons. Now, the thing is, your family, they can definitely love you. And a lot of times I noticed that when my family gave me advice, it was advice because they wanted what was best for me. And then also they wanted me to avoid certain things that they went through in life, right? Because life is about trial and error. Right. So they went through certain things and they was like, nah, we don't want Maya to go through that, and I understand it. However, as far as me growing in Christ and learning who I am in Christ due to gaining a relationship with Christ for myself and not just gaining a relationship with Christ through my grandparents, because there's a big difference, y'all. You can go to church all your life with your parents and your grandparents and you still not know God. Like, you have to know God for yourself. Anywho, that's the same thing like when it comes to our career paths, like our purpose, right? Our life choice, right? And it's like they can want what's best for us, but at the same time, we still have to do what God has called us to do, right? Now, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And when I graduated high school, it showed just how much of an entrepreneurial spirit I had, right? Now, before I get into, all of that, I do want to mention that after I was told, no, you're not going to be no cosmetologist. Because I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong with a trade? You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, literally, what's wrong with a trade? Everybody like thinking, oh, girl, you too smart. Like, you need to go to college, get you a degree. That's not what I wanted to do, because my whole thing was I always had in the back of my head, I don't want to clock in for nobody. I want to work for myself. I do not want to clock in for nobody. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to do that. But anywho, they told me, okay, so these are your 3 choices, Maya. They said either you're going to go to college, you're going to go to the military, or you're going to take a year off of school and work and pay like a little bill or something like that, so that way they can teach me financial responsibility, which is great. However, I didn't want to do none of those options. Fast forward, ended up doing all 3 of those options actually in under a year. And God, like when you need to learn something and God needs you to learn it quick, he's going to make you learn it quick, right? I felt like all of that was like, that just was so crazy how they gave me those options. And then in a year, or I guess the next year later, I ended up doing all 3. That was just so crazy to me. Anywho, I say all that to say, even though you're under your parents' roof, even though they are telling you, hey, don't go down that path, go down this one, you still have to use your discernment, right? Not saying don't listen to them, because guess what? We should definitely, and honestly and truly, let me backtrack, because I don't know who's listening, but the Bible does say Do not forsake your mother and father's instructions. I'm just saying. Now, sometimes they can definitely, if they're not of God, a lot of times you just want to go ahead and probably not listen to them. But I just had to say that to clarify, because I don't know who listening. Because if your mother and father tell you not to go smoke crack and you like, oh, well, that's not my purpose, I'm going to go smoke some crack. Girl, don't go smoke that doggone crack. Like, go listen to your mama and your daddy. You know what I'm talking about? But a lot of times, like, when we're destined for something so great, right? God is not even going to reveal it to your parents. And that was just simply my situation. Like, God did not reveal exactly who I've always been, right? I've always been this person. I've always been this way. I've always been naturally good at just not working for nobody else. For real. I've always been that person who wants to be the boss, who wants to run the show, who wants to manage things. My dad used to literally tell me, and I used to literally get in trouble by him, because he would always be like, I don't pay you to think. Like, you always want to think. Like, when you start making some money, make some money when it comes to you. Your job need to be thinking or something like that, because you always want to think and I don't pay you to think. So that was a telltale sign right there, boo. I like to think and get paid for it, okay? I like to say my think pieces and get paid, which I'm doing now, period. Like, what? But yeah, fast forward years later, and guess what I'm doing? I wasn't able, or I didn't go, not saying I wasn't able, because who knows what the future holds, but I ended up doing hair content. It's like, either way, what I wanted to do originally ended up finding me again. It was just packaged differently, right? So don't get discouraged. Like, if you feel like, dang, you're living under your parents' roof, or even if you're not, even if you're someone who maybe has had a baby and now you're having to take a step back from career and from purpose, and you're like, you don't know what to do, you just feel like you're all over the place. Trust me, I've been in both situations, and it's like you feel stuck. You know what I'm talking about? And it's not the baby that's making you feel stuck, even though you might feel like it at the moment. You're just in a situation right now, or maybe a season of life, where God is literally having to sit you down and teach you some things and teach you the basics and the fundamentals. That's where I was at. Literally, I had to be taught the basics and the fundamentals of things. And I didn't realize it, because back then I kept saying, like, dang, I just feel like everybody just moving just so fast, and they're moving ahead of me, and I feel like I'm on a different boat. Like, they all on a boat, just like in the water floating, and they just, so far in the ocean. I just feel like I'm still on a doggone shore. Whole time, if I would have went out in the middle of that ocean, the boat would have just literally broke apart, and I would have been out there swimming with the sharks, So God had to really make sure that my foundation was solid, really. And once that foundation was solid, then he can give me with the eyesight, right? Or the spiritual wisdom, right? And the knowledge to be able to, I would like to say, steward my purpose wisely, right? So if you're in the season of like, dang, you just feel like you might be, maybe, like I said, in high school or about to graduate high school, and you want to do a certain thing, but you really don't know if you should do it, or your parents or you feel like you're being discouraged, or you feel like I said, you might be a new mom and you're young and you're just like, oh Lord, you just don't know what to do. Trust me, like, I was there. Eventually, everything is going to all come back together, and just know that everything works together for your own good, right? And it's gonna come in God's timing. So don't feel like you're just so far behind. You're not. And I promise, like, once you, and not me, I don't promise, but God promised, once you are in alignment with him, everything's just gonna be like, it's gonna come together, and you're gonna see it come together, because now I can tell you from experience, right? I feel like right now, everything is just coming together. It's like I'm on the road to right. I'm on the road to just fulfilling purpose. I'm in my purpose right now. I'm literally talking to y'all about it. I'm literally teaching about purpose. And it's so funny because I was the type of girl who was like, dang, I just don't know my purpose. And now I'm the one sharing to y'all, or sharing with y'all about how you can find your purpose. But you cannot become until that foundation is fixed and until you learn the fundamentals. And a lot of times your purpose won't even be revealed to you, until you get some underlying things fixed, right? Whether that be childhood trauma that God has to work through with you, or whether you, like I said, you just had a baby and now you're trying to balance motherhood with womanhood and becoming a woman as you're becoming a mom. That's it for today's video. I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all next time. But I didn't even introduce myself at all. My name is Samaya Evans. Before I completely end this video off, I make faith-based content here on YouTube. I originally started out with making hair content for those of you who have been sticking with me through the hair content and have now seen me switch over to faith-based. And for those of you who are new here, now you know. Also, on my TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, I make God plus girl content. In a few of my videos, you may have heard me say motherhood and womanhood, balancing those two things and leveling up in that area, or those two areas. And that falls under the same category as God plus girl. But I don't want to continue to switch my niche up. So it's God plus girl. And it's really, honestly, like I said, it falls under the same category as far as balancing motherhood and womanhood, under that same category as of God plus girl. So you should follow me over there on those platforms. I'm very informative over there. And, it's all things God plus girl. It's conversations, it's looks, it's level up. And I gives what needs to give, boo. So definitely show your girl some love over there on those platforms as well. Subscribe to this channel right here. Also, I didn't even tell y'all the names of those pages. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook is actually Samaya Evans. The same exact spelling as my YouTube channel name. Make sure you guys spell it right so you can actually find me. The Y is before the I. And I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all next time.